Welcome back to another episode of RNT Fitness Radio, and today I'm joined by one of the members of the RNT family, Sachin Khiroya. Sachin's been working with us for over 18 months now, and has been through many of the phases of the RNT journey. After first driving hard to get photoshoot lean and consolidating his condition thereafter, he's embarked on a lengthy investment phase in order to build on his physique and continue to make improvements. In this episode, we dive deep into his why and how it continues to drive him even through the different phases. We also talk about the infamous incident that happened during his photoshoot prep that caused me to write the article, Social Stigmas in Asian Culture. Sachin's story is very relatable. As a father of 2 young girls who works long hours in the city, he gives the very best tips you need to know in order to balance your fitness goals with all areas of your life. I really enjoyed this chat with Sachin, and I'm excited for you to dive in. Okay, so how's the training going now, and what are you working towards?
Training's going well. I tell you what I'm loving at the moment is a couple of things. One, I'm loving my early morning starts, right? And the second thing I'm loving is just kind of going to the gym and aiming for just PBs, right? So if I take both of those in turn, right? So I always used to train in the evening, always, and I think for a year and a half or so that we've been doing RNT, right? Trained in the evening because that's what's always worked for me. And then, I don't know, I got a new job and then couldn't fit it in with family time, right? And then I think, I can't remember, it was one of your podcasts where someone said, if it's go back, and if you've tried something that didn't work for you before, don't just write it off, right? Go back and try it again at some time. And the 5 a.m. starts now is exactly that, right? I would never go in the morning to the gym, and now I'm in there 5 o'clock because I tried it. Didn't work at first, but just loving it now. So 5 o'clock most evenings, most days, and then just smashing some PBs. So training's going well.
Good. And I think one of the best things anyone who works in an office can do is train in the morning.
Oh, massively. And so evenings are tough because, I want to get home. I've got 2 girls, right? The last thing I want to do after work is go to the gym. And then if I do go after work, there's always that risk of it never happening. And then if it does happen, sometimes, you're just not fresh, right? Like your head's always going, I've got work to do. I've got this email to answer. I didn't do this, didn't do that. And the biggest thing I've learned is if I'm going in at 5, it's hard to wake up, right? But if you just, it's like 21 days for habits and all the rest of it. But going in there fresh, smashing it out, never having to think then through the day going, I've got to go to the gym, and then the risk of it not happening. Put my suit in the car in the morning, right? So instead of, the risk of it not happening, I'll put my suit in the car, I'll put my food will be ready, my EAAs will be in the fridge, everything will be done, right? I've just got to brush my teeth, get my gym clothes on. If I feel a bit hungry, I'll eat something quickly and then in. So, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. And you said one thing you're really focusing on, all your energy on is getting PRs.
Yeah.
And focusing on strength.
Yeah.
Now, it may not have been your primary focus the whole time, because now that we've been working together for 18 months, you've actually been on, through a long time of the journey.
Yeah.
Where you had the initial fat loss phase, you survived that rocky consolidation phase afterwards, and you've actually been in a lifestyle, muscle building kind of phase for about a year now. Yeah. Which is a good perspective to give in this podcast today.
Yeah.
And I'd like to touch on the mindset shift you had from switching between being focused so purely on your aesthetics and fat loss to now performance and muscle growth and allowing yourself maybe not to be as lean as normal.
Yeah. So it is a mindset shift, right? And it's hard because, you've worked, whatever it is, 20, 24, 26, however many number of weeks to look good and be lean and have abs. And then all of a sudden you get, Sachin, you got to get fluffy. And you're kind of like, oh, I can't get fluffy. I've just worked so hard. Yeah. I've got abs. I want to hold on to them. I'm nearly 40 and I might never see abs again. And And so there is a mindset shift of going, you've got to let it go a bit.
A bit. Yeah.
Because so number one, I think, I know you can you maintain, that whatever, I don't know, 6, 7, 8, 9% body fat for a long period? I don't know, but I suspect the answer is it's hard.
But it's possible.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Whereas I was in the other camp that said, okay, I'm okay being, after a while, it took a bit, let's say, mindset shift. I was like, okay, I could be 10, 12, 15% body fat tops, but live our lifestyle, right? So Monday to Friday, Monday to Thursday, eat really well, weigh out my food, look after myself, get my steps in, drink my water, and then just relax and have a beer, go for a curry, and enjoy life a little bit over the weekends. So, and I've been doing that for, like you said, probably about 9 to 12 months now. And so, I'm enjoying it because it's a lifestyle change.
Because one of the things that we had a conversation about, and something I talk about often, is how you approach that fluffy period, where there has to be a fluffy period, all depends on things like your age, where your background, your psychology.
Yeah.
If you're someone who's never seen abs before,
or
if you're someone who's maybe approaching 40 or in their 40s, you probably don't want to do a proper fluffy phase. It's just not necessary.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to be counterproductive from a health point of view as well. Whereas if you're in your 20s, it makes a lot more sense. So we've probably done a more of a conservative approach.
Yeah.
And it's only maybe now you may have just tipped the scale.
Yeah, just a little bit,
Just a little bit. But for a while, you've strung out this building phase for about 9, 12 months, which is pretty impressive, I think.
Yeah, I think I was, so if I just put like kind of some weights to it, right? So at my leanest, I remember photo shoot day, right? I was 54 kilos, which is super light, right? I remember even having a conversation with you when I started. I was 64, the whole process. I was 64 when I started. And you see the weight drop down to kind of, I don't know, I was hovering around 62, 61. And in my head, I had this mental block that I never want to get lower than 60. I remember one of my check-ins, and I can't remember how many weeks into it, I was like, dude, I'm heading towards a number which is like 60, and I don't want to drop less than 60. And you're like, but do you want abs? And I was like, well, yeah, it'd be nice to have abs, but I don't want to drop below 60. Yeah. And you're like, look, if you wanna be lean, then you're gonna have to go to sub 60 and 57, 58, or even 56 or whatever it might be. So I dropped to 54 day of the photo shoot.
Just tell them what your height is. So.
I'm I like to say I'm 5'6.5", but 5'6" is fine. But yeah, so 54 day of shoot, and then obviously a few weeks after that, just getting back to normal weight around 56-ish. Yeah. And I'm now at, and I guess that's kind of maintained and creeped up slightly through a building phase. I'm now 61. I kind of see my optimal around 59-ish.
Yeah, that's what we said. Like your building optimal is probably 59 to 60.
Yeah.
After that, you probably look a bit fluffier, and if you're too low, I don't think it was as strong.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
A sweet spot. There's always a sweet spot everyone has where they're strongest.
Yeah.
And you think you found yours around 59, 60.
Yeah, I agree. I think at 54, I look back at the photos and I kind of go, whilst I looked lean, I kind of in my head go, I didn't have that much muscle on me.
Yeah.
Right? So I call it skinny lean, but maybe not skinny lean, but it wasn't muscular lean. And so for me, it's been important to spend 9 months or so just consolidating and getting PRs or PBs or whatever it might be. And now I feel stronger, right? Yeah. I'm lifting the most I've ever lifted. I'm pressing and pulling and all the rest of it more than I've ever done. So I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, and so that's exactly what it's all about. It's finding that optimal weight for you, and then just getting brutally strong. And just going to the gym with a performance mindset. And that changes everything.
Yeah. But it's hard, right? That mindset shift is hard. I remember going, I didn't want to, so two things. One, I never wanted to drop below 60, right? But you've got to mentally accept that you're going to have to drop to a lower weight than you probably have in your head.
Yeah.
to get lean if that's where you want to be. And then the second challenge when it comes to weight is just a number that you shouldn't focus on. But the other one is when you kind of start ramping back up out of the lean phase and getting into fluffy phase is, oh my God, I've got to get fluffy. Oh my God, I'm going to lose abs. But you kind of go, right, long term, this is the best thing for it.
Yeah.
And your motivations change, right? So my motivation before was, am I seeing weight drop? Am I seeing inches drop? And now my motivation is very different. It's kind of, can I dip more? Can I bench press more? Can I do more chin-ups? Can I do more hack squats? Whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Very different mindset.
That's exactly it. And it's funny you talk about the mental roadblock because so many people have it, especially guys.
Yeah.
They're attached to certain numbers, like 70 kilos, 80 kilos, 60. It's always around number.
Yeah.
And it's because most people underestimate how much muscle they have and overestimate how much muscle they have and underestimate how much body fat they have.
Yeah.
And so they always end up at a lighter body weight than they expected.
Yeah, I agree. And the other thing is, remember when you said like a muscle building phase should be about a good year or 2 years, depending on how young you are or whatever, how much time you might have. But I guess the other thing for listeners is potentially, when I did a year and a half ago, I was looking back at my logs and going about a year ago, I was maybe it was around 26 or 28 dumbbell press, right? Flat dumbbell press. And now I'm only at 32. Yeah. Right. So it's not that much. And that's only 9 months, right? Yes, my form's better. Yes, you're probably doing more reps, whatever it might be. But you can't just go, 9 months, I'm going to be going from 28 to 38. It just doesn't happen.
No. And what you've done is still a significant increase. 28 to 32.
Yeah.
4 kilos each hand and more reps, better form is huge.
Yeah.
I'd take that now.
Yeah. And the ones that I'm really, really happy with are like, the tricep dips. Before I was, and again, body weight comes into it, right? So I was probably, 57, 58, 60 kilos, whatever it might be, and only having 15 attached to me. I'm now, I think my last one, I was 27 and a half attached. And the form's pretty decent. And my chin-ups are, 20 kilos attached. A year ago, it wouldn't have been anywhere near that.
You know what? A lot of people after a fat loss phase, they always ask themselves, what's next? Or why do I need to continue training?
Yeah.
Or, shouldn't it just stay like this now? What's motivated you to continue to train, continue to keep it as a lifestyle and always look at getting better?
Yeah. So I guess it kind of brings me back to why I probably started, right?
Let's go back there.
Because, I lost my dad for just over 4 months, coming up to 5 years. And it was unexpected, right? So totally unexpected. He was generally fit. Yeah, he smoked. But he had a manual job, but nothing more than that. And passed away just like that, within a few hours type thing.
Wow.
And you kind of see what that does to people, the impact that has on my mum, the impact it had on me and my family. My eldest was born, so you see the impact it has on her. You didn't see my youngest, and missed her by like 2 weeks. And you I always think back to that and going, you know what? I want to make sure I do the best I can for my family, right? And that means I want my inside. I keep talking about my insides. I want my insides to be good, so that I can live a longer life and be an active father. I can run around and kick a football with whether it's my nephews or even my girls or whatever it might be. So that's always been my driving factor. It's always just been, I want to be healthy. I want to be fit. The exterior looking good is just, it's a great bonus, but it's the insides. And if I had to run for a train, can I run for a train and not just go, and have to, pump out an asthma pump and all the rest of it. So that's probably been the biggest one, really. It's just making sure I'm fit and healthy for my family.
And would you say that's a why that stuck with you from the very start and also even now?
Yeah, massively. Yeah, huge. you know, people go, "Oh, why are you doing this?" And you know, why are you doing that? Why are you doing this? And it's kind of like, well, it is for my kids. I've never been unhealthy. Well, let me take that back. I've always perceived myself to not be unhealthy, right? And by that I mean I wouldn't eat like sweets and junk, but I'd absolutely go and eat a bagel loaded with peanut butter, right? But that's because I didn't know that, well, what it consisted of was just loads of carbs and fats and all the rest of it. But now I'm just much more educated. It is my biggest driver of making sure I'm fit and healthy for my family. So yeah, no, that's still my biggest driver, and that was my why. And my biggest why was that.
Do you think, as a father and other fathers listening, it's one of the most important gifts you can give your children?
Oh, huge! I talk to a lot of my kind of cousins or my brother-in-laws or whoever, right? We've all got kids, and I'm like, you know, you want to be around for as long as possible. Okay, there are certain things you can control, and certain things that you can't control. But those that you can control, some people do it, right, and look after their health and their fitness and all the rest of it, and others don't. And I'm like, well, really, you kind of need to. Maybe it's not like number one priority or whatever. Number two priority, it's got to be in your top five, your own health. Because surely, absolutely, you know, touch wood, nothing ever happens to anyone, but you absolutely want to see your son or your daughter get married, right? You absolutely want to see them have their first kid, and then you spend as much time with your grandchildren as possible. And that's got to be the number one aim in life as a parent. So yeah, I'd certainly say that's got to be a big
when
goal.
you're speaking to these guys, why the ones who don't do it? What do you notice, and what are the reasons that they're giving?
I think the reasons, everyone's got their reasons, but I lay it down because the guys I speak to are kind of, you know, really good friends or whatever it might be, my cousins or whoever. But I'm always like, well, that's not a reason. Right? They might be like, oh, I haven't got time, or yeah, but you know, I don't know what to do, or yeah, I tried that, it didn't work, or yeah, I'm going to do it from tomorrow. Right? They're just excuses, really. Like, if you want to do it, you'll just do it. And I'm always like, look, you know, I haven't got time. I think it was one of your podcasts again. Was it the Time Zillionaire?
Yeah, Man Sandrini.
Yeah, everyone's got 24 hours in the day, right? So if you say you haven't got time, then it's not you haven't got time. It's what are you doing with your 24 hours that suggests you haven't got it, right? Everyone leads busy jobs, right, and busy lives and all the rest of it. Everyone, but most, you know, if you've got kids or whatever, just comes down to how important it is to you. So the reasons for me are, I don't know, I said everyone's got their reasons. Some of them for me are excuses, and I just tell them, look, that's just an excuse, mate. Get on it. Just sort it out. And most people listen. Most people are like, yeah, you're right. You're right. I want to do it. And you might see them that evening going, Satch, I thought about this. You know, what should I do? Should I do this? And if I send you something, can you have a quick look at what I'm eating and not eating? And that's great. And then after about a couple of weeks, it's like, yeah, I'm going to the pub for a pint. And 10 pints later, they're like, yeah. So
you mentioned your dad passed away about 4 years ago.
Yeah, 5 years in June. Yeah.
Did you start the process of improving your health straight after, or did it take time? Because we only started working over about 18 months.
Yeah.
About 18 months ago.
Yeah.
What were you doing in between, or was there anything? Or?
Yeah. So I've never been unhealthy or unfit, and I guess I've always played football. I did karate when I was younger. And I guess when my dad passed away, I probably took it a little bit more seriously in terms of just my health and fitness. But just a normal person going to the gym. So I'd go to the gym, just, you know, no plan, right? You'd turn up and go, what should I do today? Right? Not tracking my weights, right? Not having like indicator lifts or anything like that. Sticking to machine machine-led weights rather than, dumbbells and barbells and all the rest of it. And never training legs, right? Because I hate legs.
Still don't do it, do you?
I try, but it's not my favourite body part, man. It's not my favourite body part. And I just find, like, no matter how hard I work them, just don't get bigger. But I'd go to the gym, but I'd also, like I said, in my head, think I'm eating well, because I didn't eat chocolates and crisps and stuff like that. But I never really was eating well because I said peanut butter and bagels and a packet full of nuts and whatever else, loads of fruit, right? Whilst that's deemed to be healthy, right?
It's unmeasured amounts, basically.
That's exactly it. Yeah. So it's unmeasured amounts, and then on a weekend I'd just go crazy, right? And I was always drinking most weekends, if not every weekend, and if I was out in the evening, right, I'd have a blowout day. So I'd wake up in the morning with the mindset that today's a bad day, right? Let me just make it a bad day. So, and when I mean bad day, I mean a bad day for food. Yeah. So I was like, going out in the evening for some curry and some beers. So screw it, I'll just make it a bad day overall. So for breakfast, it'd be bacon sandwiches or fry up. There'd be probably a couple of KFCs or whatever it might be, and then blow out for dinner. And then obviously the next morning you're like, I feel a bit crap, so I'll just have loads of toast or whatever it might be. So it was always, from Dad passing away to when I joined, it was always, go to the gym 3 times a week. No structure. Unmeasured eating, but okay food, but unmeasured. And then a weekend just blown out.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the period up until, was it January 2018, right?
Yeah, I think you got in contact end of December.
Yeah,
2017.
Yeah, so January 18, I remember that. And then, December 17, I got in touch.
What was the driving force?
It was, I don't know, it was probably just more like, I think I'm eating well. I think I'm going to the gym and doing stuff, but I'm skinny fat, right? Can't get abs. Limited definition. I thought I looked decent, but you look now back and go, geez, I look like that. I always had this chubby face, right? Yeah, I know you're laughing.
Those cute little cheeks.
Cute, right? So I was like, I've always had this chubby face, and I was like, I always used it as an excuse, going, I'm working out hard in the gym, I'm eating really well, I've just got this chubby face, can't get rid of it. It's just life. I'm born with a chubby face. I've got to live with it now. So that was kind of, it was just, I want to see what I can do, right? And I remember in November 17, I was just looking at plans of what could I do. And I was pretty close. I always knew I wanted to start in January 18. Right, and I just thought,
that guy,
that guy. I'm going to start in January 2018. Blow out December 17. Right, loads of cheese, loads of KFCs, loads of Regency. Just go out all mad. Start in January 18. And I was pretty close to doing a different plan. Right, I guess I can. It was the Joe Wicks 90-day plan that I was pretty close to signing up to. And then. My brother-in-law Raj, who also does RNT, he showed me a picture of a friend of his, a guy called Anand and Geeta, right?
Of course, yeah.
And I think Anand must have been. He's one of the first, right?
No, we just released him around Christmas time. That's why.
Yeah,
that's why you would have got it.
Yeah. So I was like, oh my god, this is amazing, right? And Raj is like, I know him, right? And that just makes a difference when you know someone or know of someone that's been through it. Yeah. You're like, okay, this is real, right? This ain't no Photoshop stuff or a doubt in the mind that goes, can this be done? Or how much of this is just a bit of a gimmick? This is real. And then I remember getting in touch with you. I remember going, I've got questions and we had a couple of conversations probably in December. Yeah. And then me and Raj joined up in January. Greatest thing.
Yeah, rest of the history.
the rest is history, as they say, and long may this journey continue. But I remember joining in January 18.
Let's talk about the initial journey. So the initial fat loss phase.
Yeah.
You tried the different approaches. We never had the structure. How did you find suddenly going all in?
Oh man,
on something where you've got training, steps, cardio,
Jesus.
Nutrition.
You killed me, man.
Water, everything. You're a complete overhaul essentially.
Yeah.
But you embraced the whole thing.
Yeah.
What was going on in your head?
Oh man, I remember. I'll tell you. You just remember certain days, right?
Yeah.
And through this whole journey, I've remembered a few days, and we'll talk about that, I'm sure. But I remember the day before me joining, as in starting day one, right? The T-0, Sunday night, batch cooking. Gee, that was a ball ache, right? I remember the first time I batch cooked, it took me, probably 4 hours. It was a joke. I was like, crap, I haven't got enough Tupperware boxes. These little things like that, right? I was like, I haven't got enough Tupperware boxes. I haven't got enough space in my freezer or my fridge. To the point that I was overthinking stuff. So rice, right? And again, it's weird. I remember weighing out my rice. So let's say it was 100 grams a day. So I remember weighing out 500 grams uncooked rice, put it in on the pan, and it was ready. And I'm like, shit. Now what? I then reweighed all of it, cooked, and split it into 5, right? And I was like, I look back now and going, actually, you don't need to do that stuff, right? You kind of just
divide it,
just divide it by 5 because over a week you're going to eat it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make a difference. So I remember that day and going, this is a ball ache. This is such. I remember, and Rena, my wife, was helping me, and I remember taking 4 or 5 hours. I was like, I don't know if I could do this every week. 4 or 5 hours every week, batch cooking. You can't do it.
What did you get the time down to?
I then figured out what work. Again, you find out what works for you, and everyone's very different, right? So my brother-in-law Raj doesn't batch cook because he works from home, so he prefers to make it fresh. But I got mine down to Sunday an hour, right? I'd spend an hour batch cook, right, for a good 3-4 days, and then I was always working from home on a Wednesday and spend another hour. Right,
yeah,
just
easy.
It was so easy, and now I still batch cook. Right, I batch cook loads, and now I've got a huge freezer in my garage, and I'll just batch cook forever.
Well, before we went live, you were telling me you batch cooked 30 meals at once, just for the cracks.
Over Easter, right? I nicked my brother's freezer. He's got this big cabinet or chest freezer, and that was just sitting in my mum's garage, and said, right, I'm taking this. And then Easter weekend, batch cook loads. Because I'm going to Vegas in 6 weeks. I was like, next 6 weeks, just want to be good. No temptations, no decision fatigue. Yeah. Batch cook the hell out of it all, and that's it. So I remember that. I remember that at the beginning. The other things that kind of went through. I mean, the training wasn't too bad. Right? So going to the gym wasn't too bad. The food was the difficult bit. Right? I remember the first week, just couldn't eat that much food, man. Like I was only on probably 1,800 calories, something like that, maybe 1,900 first week or two. Couldn't shovel it down me. Couldn't. And I remember complaining to Rena, and I was like, Rena, I can't eat this stuff. Just can't eat it. She's like, oh man up, stop being such an idiot. Just shove it down your mouth and just eat it. And I remember you messaging her, I feel full. And you were like, this is because you've changed your macros and you're eating good quality food. And you were like, embrace it because, you're going to be hungry soon. You're going to be hungry in like 5-6 weeks. So remember that was a bit of a mindset shift, kind of going, right, how do I eat all of this? And then having structure around steps, man, that was tough. Right? And again, I don't think I did more than probably 4,000 to 5,000 a day before that. Not that I tracked my steps, but it wouldn't be more than 4 or 5. And then getting told to do 10 meant that I just had to plan it. So for the first couple of weeks, I'd do 10,000 every day, right? I ticked every box every day, right? No matter what. But it did mean going out at night time at like 11 o'clock or 11:30, right? Quickly, half an hour, or quickly, if I've got to make up whatever it might be, some 4,000, 5,000 steps. I'd be out there for half an hour, 45 minutes in the cold in January and February, pouring down with rain and snow, just getting it in.
Yeah.
Getting it in.
What did that teach you?
It taught me that I need to change the way I do my steps. Yeah. Because what I did find is, man, obviously it's bloody cold at night, right? At 11:30, trying to get all your steps in. You're out there in the cold, in the rain, and it's just not pleasant at times. So what I then did was it taught me just to get up earlier. Yeah. So I was up earlier and walking to a station further out. Right? So instead of walking I live in Northwood Hills, so instead of walking to Northwood Hills tube station, I would walk to Pinner tube station, right? Which is 25-minute walk rather than a 10-minute walk. And then when the steps went up, it was just an easy way to, instead of walking to Pinner, I'd walk to the one after that, right? So North Harrow. And then smashing that take 45 minutes to walk.
Just walking all the way down the tube line.
Pretty much, right? I'd be knackered. I'd be exhausted. But I remember when you having to do 10,000 steps was a chore, and then when you went and you got hit 15, I'd already had a good routine and plan. I had structure. But the other thing, and again, I think you do need, the support. The thing that helped me was Rena was like, well, got to get your steps done. Right? Get yourself out there and do your steps. I'm sure it was part of it was because she wanted me out of the house. But the other part was just, if you've got to get it done, you've got to get it done.
Yeah.
Whether it's in the house or walking around the dining table, up and down the stairs, whatever it might be, you just got to get it done. If you tick every box every day without fail, results will just come.
Yeah. What were some of the other defining moments along that initial fat loss journey? So we talked about how much I had to eat. I think the 13-week mark, 13-week mark was kind of... So before that, I probably had a couple of other ones. I got injured a couple of times, right? So I remember it was probably week 6 or week 7. I was playing football. I think I twisted my knee on my ankle. And then I had a hernia operation many years ago, and I think I pulled my hernia and I was struggling. I remember that being a challenge and calling you up and going, oh, dude, look, I can't train. And you were like, just do light weights, right? Look after yourself, but just do light weights. But then the biggest one probably came in week 12 or 13, when I remember calling you up and going, man, I can't do this, right? And this was all that social stigma stuff that kind of, knocked me back for 6. Talk to us about what happened that day.
Yeah, so again, week 12, 13.
Just for the listeners, this was the moment that essentially sparked me to write the article, which I'll link in the show notes for anyone who hasn't read it. But it was this moment that Sachin's about to explain that will shed light to it.
Yeah, so it was, up to week 13. So I would have, I thought I was in great shape. Or, you get really good feedback from your trainer going, like, you're doing well. The kilos are falling off. The waist is coming in. You're getting stronger in the gym. You may have visible abs or whatever it might be. And at the time, I was flying high, right? Cloud 9. Right? Everything's just going great. I felt great. I felt stronger. Waking up early, just getting everything done. It was brilliant, right? And then again, it comes back to those days. You just remember days. I remember everything about this day.
Yeah.
Like,
go on.
To the point of so it happened on Sunday, but let me take you back to Friday. So that week was just a busy week at work, right? I think I went out on Friday night. I played football on Saturday morning. It was really hot. I think we had another party on Saturday night. And so by Sunday, I was whacked, right? It was hot, and we had an Indian baby shower, so a koro, right? And I remember this day, and I go, we went to this Indian event. I'm wearing an Indian outfit, right? So bear in mind, they are notoriously baggy. I'd played football and had a few late nights, so I was probably tired. And you're on cloud nine, and you walk into this event where you've got 300 people, 400 people, whatever it is. I remember where I parked my car. I remember walking in. I remember where I sat and what table I sat at. I remember who I sat next to. You know, my daughter was on my lap and she was playing with a Peppa Pig and a bus type thing. And then, you know, people just started coming up to me going, "Oh man, you okay? Right? You look a little bit ill." Right? I was like, "No, I'm fine. You know, I'm okay. I'm just getting healthy. I'm just getting a little bit lean. I know what I'm doing." And then you're like, okay, fine. So that's maybe 1 or 2 people. And then 5 or 6 people start, or 8 people, or 10 people. And then a mixture of people that are young. That's at my age. I don't think I'm quite young, but, what, 37, 38. And a mixture of the elder generation, right? So some my aunts and you know, my other in-laws, etc., etc. And you know, you get 10, 15 people going, "Are you ill? Are you ill? What's wrong with you? Why aren't you eating? Right? You don't look good. You need to stop doing what you're doing. Or what are you doing to yourself?" And by the end of it, no joke, right? We must have had, because people started talking to my mum going, "Oh, look, your son's he looks ill. Right? What's wrong with him? You know, you're not feeding him." To my in-laws, right? All these people going, "Oh, yeah, why is he doing this to himself? He doesn't look good. You should say something." And then to my mum, Rena's got thick skin, right? Like people would say it to her and she'll just be like, "Whatever," right? He knows what he's doing. He's almost 40. You know, he's probably looks better than you. He feels better than you. You know, she'll just give it back. But no joke, 150, at least 150 odd people must have had a comment.
Wow.
And it's mad, right? And you're like, "Geez, this is tough. It's tough to take."
It's unexpected. That's what it is, right?
Yeah, it is that unexpected thing, right? So you go from, let's say, cloud 9 to then being told, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And it was, you know, it knocks to confidence. Yeah. If you hear 1 or 2 people, you're like, "Whatever," right? But when there's 150 odd people gunning for you, but also probably via my mum, via my in-laws, that's kind of when it hurts a bit, right? And I remember on the day that I found a couple of people that were just really on my side. So obviously Rena was on my side, and she'd be like, "Look, Masa, look, whatever, right? Look, he knows what he's doing. He's looking great. He's got abs. He's got this. You know, he wakes up early. His health is the best it's ever been. Maybe you should try it," right? You know, they're the kind of things, and you know, sometimes she was a little bit more sharper than that, but she'd say it how it is.
Yeah.
So there are a couple of people on my side. So it was her, Rena, and then one of Rena's cousins, someone called Dimple, who again is into her health and fitness, and she's had comments where people are like, "Oh, you know, you need to put on a bit of weight." But you know, whenever she was with me, she'd be like to these uncles, like, "Look, I think he looks fine. He looks great. Don't worry about it." Right? But on that day, you know, the event's 3-4 hours, and you can feel people looking at you, and you can, it's just not a nice feeling. And I remember then going, right, I'm just going to eat. Right? I hadn't cheated 13 weeks, not had one meal off plan, right? Or unless it was, I think maybe my birthday or Valentine's or whatever, maybe a planned meal.
Unplanned, yeah.
Yeah, so nothing unplanned. And I remember that day going, you know, this is tough. I'm just going to eat just to shut people up, right? To that point, I remember eating everything that was in sight, right? Just to prove to people that, look, I can eat. There's nothing wrong with me. But it's a choice that I was making not to eat, but kind of part of me is like, I just need to shut people up. So I ate, and then we just left, right? And then I went home, and it's still, you know, confidence was low, right? And Rena was like, shit, man, are you okay? And then the doorbell rings, and my in-laws come to my house, and they're like, Sach, you need to stop. And I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, you need to stop what you're doing. What you're doing isn't great for you. It's not healthy. You've lost a lot of weight. You've done really well. We're proud of what you've done. But enough's enough type stuff. And I was like, look, I get where you're coming from. Because this isn't about them trying to be nasty, right? This isn't about anyone trying to be, rude or kind of, or just to be mean. No one's trying to do that, right? This is just about that generation not being educated enough, or maybe not have seen people go through healthy eating and trying to get lean. So there's no fault of their own. It's just, like I said, just the lack of understanding and education of, their background is, you're Indian, you eat loads of food, and I'll feed you, and you're healthy, rather than healthy type stuff, right? You got to be healthy, and that means putting on a little bit of weight type stuff. So when people kind of say it, I get it, right? I get that they're not doing it, and they're saying out of maybe out of care or whatever it might be. And so my in-laws came around, and we talked, and they're like, look, I think you should stop. I think you should stop. And I was like, look, I appreciate where you're coming from. I get it. But I'm okay. I know what I'm doing. Right. I trust the process. I trust what my trainer's saying. Just give me, this is week 13, right? So I was like, look, just give me another 5-6 weeks. That's all I need. Right. And then, and then you'll see me get back to normal. Well, I say normal, but I'll put on a bit more weight. And then they left, and I think maybe my mum must have called me as well. But you try and convince yourself that it is okay. I'm not saying you doubt the process, but you kind of at the back of your mind go, shit, is this normal? I remember reading that night. I remember reading and looking on Google. I remember reading and doing whatever I can to find, I don't know, whatever it might be, to go, is it normal, or how much weight should one person lose, when they're going through, a weight loss phase or getting lean. I remember taking pictures of myself to go, okay, am I too skinny? Right. And I remember even that night just going out and getting a curry just because confidence was so low. I just needed to feel better. And then I talked to Rena about, I don't know, should I stop? What should I do? Should I stop? Have I gone too far? Bear in mind, I was 13 weeks in, so my weight would have been 59 ish, 60, 59, 58 ish, right? So I was like, crap, have I gone too far? Have I gone sub 60? That the number that I've got in my head. Should I stop? Should I slow down? What should I do? And she's like, just call Akash, right? So that night I was like, all right, fine, whatever, right? And I still remember taking a photo, and I sent it to you. I think I sent it to we got this WhatsApp siblings group, who were all at this Indian event, who all afterwards would go and, are you okay? I'm generally a fairly confident guy, but you could see confidence was low, and are you okay? I heard loads of people saying stuff. And I just sent him a picture of me with abs and go, yeah, next time I'm just going to tell him that, I can't remember what the words were, was, I've got fucking abs or something like that, going, look, next time I walk around without my shirt on, just to show people that I know what I'm doing. And so, yeah, that was the Sunday. I remember all of it, like all of it. When you have those days where you just remember something.
I feel like I was there. You're describing it to me now. I feel like I'm there.
Like to the point. Yeah. I remember what I wore. I remember my Indian clothes, right?
Yeah.
I remember where my father-in-law sat on the sofa, like which sofa he sat on. I remember going and picking up my curry from the takeaway joint. I remember all of it. Just like like I've never felt that low in confidence or that unsure about myself ever. Right? I look back now and I just laugh, right? Because I've now got thicker skin and I get it, and people get it. Right, so people have been on this journey with me now, right? So my mum's seen it, my father-in-law's seen it, my mother-in-law's seen it. But at the time it was tough. But it was nice to have people. So I had my brother-in-law Raj, who actually couldn't be at the Coral, but I think it was maybe the next day or even that night. He goes, "Look, dude, I heard loads of people saying stuff." He goes, "Look, if I was there, I would have had your back, and I don't think you look ill or lean or something. I don't think you look ill. I don't think you look sick. So keep going, right? So when you find pockets of support, it's great. But yeah, it was a tough day. Tough day.
That was a Sunday night.
That was a Sunday night, and I called you on Monday.
Yeah.
I called you on Monday, and I'm going, "Look, dude, man, this what's happened." Took you through the journey, and said, "Look, this is what's happened." And I remember you going, "Don't worry." Right? I think you gave me your experiences.
Yeah, I've been called an anorexic swimmer. I've been called an AIDS patient. AIDS patient.
Man, I got called. Not to my face. Not to my face. I heard that someone asked if I got cancer.
Yeah, I've heard it all. So when you said it to me, I wasn't shocked because everyone at some point gets it.
Yeah.
But most people don't know how to deal with it. That's the problem.
It is,
and that's why I talk about it more, because I want people who are feeling that way to not feel down about it.
Massively.
To know that it's not them that's doing something wrong. It's everyone else's insecurities, miseducation.
Yeah.
It's a combination of different factors here, and that they're expressing.
Yeah. That's exactly it. It is, and these people aren't saying it to hurt you, right? These guys are saying it because they don't know any different.
Yeah, there's multiple ways. For some people, like probably for the older people, it's more a lack of education.
Yeah.
For people who are more like, between the ages of like 25 and 45, I would say it's more their insecurities coming out on them.
Yeah.
And it's their lack of confidence, their lack of security in themselves and how they look being expressed out. And they want to just almost put you down to bring you back to the norm. I'm putting that in inverted commas.
Yeah. I guess it didn't help that this is March, April time, whatever. I hadn't seen people either for 3 months. All right. So these, you turn up to an Indian event, you see people after months and months. And people hadn't seen me, and they're like, "Geez, what's happened?" I remember calling you, and I wanted to be sure that it wasn't just me, that this has happened to other people. It is kind of, I'm not the first, I won't be the last. It'll continue to happen. I remember I speaking to you, and you were like, "Yeah, that's actually, don't worry about it." We reversed out. I think we bumped me up just for a week, just to feel better in myself, right? So I think I went up to some like 18 or 1900 calories just for a week, and even then I was like going, "But dude, I've worked so hard to get inverted commas lean." We put me up to 1900, right? So I must have been on some like 1400 or something. And I'm like, "You're going to put me up to 1900. I'm going to lose my abs," So it was really weird to go, am I going to quit? Do I want to pull back? To then me not pulling back, but you're saying, just go to 1900 calories, you'll be fine. I'm like, "Oh my God, really?"
Yeah.
And then I reached out, just reach out to anyone and everyone, but I reached out to Biraj, and part of the RNT group, right? I just reached out to him, going, "Hey dude, look, just reaching out because I think you'd mentioned that he'd done a bit of a reverse over Christmas, I think, over reading his case study, kind of got low calories and then went back up for a little bit." So I was like, "Look, similar path where I've come down on calories, looking decent. This whole, Asian stigma thing has happened, and I'm going back up to like 18, 1900 calories. Am I going to lose abs, or what's going to happen? And we had a great chat. And he's like, that happened to me as well. As people talk to me, were saying, am I looking ill? What am I doing? So it's great. It was just nice to know, because when you're doing this virtual online training thing, you are quite solo at times, right? Yeah, you've got a great Facebook community and network and all the rest of it, but you are solo to an extent. And so knowing and hearing that other people have gone through it just massively helped.
Yeah.
So so that was challenge at week 13.
So the one thing you said about the reverse thing, and what I find is when you go through a lean phase and you get a little bit of that lean face look, when it's sometimes too lean, all it often takes is like a week of coming off the diet, and not being in deficit, and you'd be surprised like how much better you look. Like sometimes if you're doing, say, a photo shoot or a show, the day of it, you can look quite bad in your face, but once you normalize yourself, your face just returns to normal. So it's very temporary.
Yeah, it's temporary, yeah.
And a lot of it's also because people have never seen you with a lean face.
Yeah,
they're so used to that, especially you. Right?
They're used to a chubby face, right?
Chubby cheeks, right?
Yeah. So for the first time in God knows how long, I had a.
You haven't got tennis balls on your cheeks. Those pictures still crap me up.
They weren't tennis balls. They were little ping pong balls, right? No, they were. People hadn't seen me. They'd lived with me, going, you got chubby cheeks, and now, well, they're chiseled, but I certainly was a lot slimmer on the face, and my body shape would have changed massively.
No.
But and even in an Indian outfit, you're not going to see that in any case.
No.
So it was the facial thing around, and it was hot, and I'd played football, and I'd had a week of tiredness. So there's an element of it just adding up and accumulating, and then just hitting hard in week 13.
Do you think if it happened to you now, you'd approach it differently?
Yeah, I would. Right?
What would you do differently? And what would you say to people who are going through it to prevent them feeling low, blowing their diet just to prove things? What would you do differently?
Yeah, so I still so anyone who's going through it or has been through it or may even go through it, right? Kind of just believe in yourself, right? And you can never mentally prepare for it, right? But let's say, hindsight's a wonderful thing. I could have mentally been prepared to go, right, people have not seen me in 3 months. I've lost, whatever it's 4 or 5 kilos.
Which isn't much when you think about it.
It's not much, right? But when you lose 4 or 5 kilos off your tennis ball cheeks, as you call it, right? It's, you can never be mentally prepared for it. Yeah, but you can, I think you've got to be stronger in yourself and go, right, what I'm doing is the right thing. There's a reason for what you're doing. And tell people what you're doing and why you're doing it, right? So, how I'd approach it differently now, rather than going, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. Don't worry, I trust my trainer, right? It's almost kind of going, look, I'm doing it because I want to get healthy, right? I want my insides to be good. My dad passed away unexpectedly. I never want to, as much as I can control, I want to control my outcome, right? And if that means me getting healthy, and if that means me just watching what I'm eating, even if it's short term, right? Longer term, I'm gonna live a lifestyle which is different. But if you can educate people and tell them more about your why, which is not, I didn't do that, right? I kind of shut shop and went, I know what I'm doing, right? Yeah, great. You're number 44, that person that told me that I look ill, right? I don't think I shared why I'm doing it. And if I had, I don't know if I would have got a different response, right? But at least I would have done myself justice of going, look, if you're with me, great. I'm happy to talk to you about stuff and all the rest of it. But if you're not with me, then just accept it, right? I still get, I'm what, 61 kilos, right? So I still get told, oh my God, people I haven't seen in about a year and a half, oh my God, Sach, you've lost loads of weight. And I'm like, no, I haven't lost loads of weight, right? I think I look better for it. I'm stronger, I'm fitter, I'm healthier, I'm leaner. You should try it sometime, right? It is to that point where I'm going, look, have you thought about it?
Yeah.
Have you
back on them,
have you thought about, right, where you want to be and how much of your life you're in control. You've got the ability to control, so in part of how long you live, right? But that is through lifestyle and exercise and healthy eating and all the rest of it. And it's amazing, once you've done a photo shoot and the pictures are up and all the rest of it, those same people, right? Those same people, the 150 people that said stuff, they're all like, oh my God, wow. How did you do that? What did you do? And loads of those people are now a lot more educated. Yeah, and they understand it more. So my in-laws have always been supportive, right? Love them to bits, always been supportive, but they're now even probably more supportive and more educated. I've been through it. Rena's done RNT, Raj is doing RNT. So there's quite a few people that kind of go, right, that have helped educate them on the process. Yeah. My mum gets it now a bit more, right? Still she's like now using fry light instead of loads of oil, right? She's air frying stuff rather than frying stuff in loads of oil itself. Eating healthier. But it is an education process. But your social network is massive, right? Having people support you. So if you've got a good social network, lean on them, right? People that believe in you and the journey, just lean on them.
Yeah, it's funny. My family didn't understand what I was doing until I stepped on stage in 2014. Up till then, they thought I was crazy.
Yeah.
They thought that was for a significantly long period of time.
Yeah.
And it was only, I'd say 3-4 years, they didn't really know. And then I went on stage in 2014. They came to the show, and it was only when they saw me on stage and I won the show that they were like, oh, this is what he's been dieting for. I mean, bodybuilding was just the target, but they finally understood why I was pushing myself so hard to achieve that condition. And after that, it's been great.
Yeah.
And maybe I made the same mistake, and I never really explained to people why it was important to me.
Yeah.
And I think that's a critical part of this whole thing.
Yeah. I guess maybe one question for you then, right, is your family saw you go through that, right? No, the bodybuilding and getting really lean, where you got dark days, right? Or darker than a photo shoot type stuff, right? Part of them is just concerns, right? When you're trying random foods, whey with rice and all that rubbish that you were trying, right? And when you've got dark days and you're not in the right mood and not in the right headspace, they're just worried for you.
So yeah, I mean, for the first one, a lot of it was just the worry, but even the second time. Because the second time I took myself even further. Yeah. I took myself into a really dark place in condition-wise. Yeah. Like really conditioned. And one of my friends at the time, I remember he came over and I was upstairs, must have been getting ready and then to go out with him. And they were saying I could hear them saying, I thought I'm really worried now. Like I think he's gone way further than normal.
Yeah.
Like he's looking like, he smiles and he's got wrinkles all in his cheek. I was so lean. And at my sister's graduation, it was timed so badly. She was graduating a week before my show.
Oh man!
So I hadn't started any loading of carbs or anything. I was super depleted.
Jeez.
I put on this suit which was hanging off me, and then I'm smiling at her pictures. And I look like an old man. I've got wrinkles like all on my cheeks, and it just looked horrible. But what's funny is a couple of weeks after, I looked completely fine, even though my body fat wasn't too far off my leanness. My face looked fine because I'd normalized again. The stress had gone down.
It's amazing how when you do normalize, your face is the first thing that just goes back to normal.
Because remember, it's a deficit is stress.
Yeah,
to your body. As soon as you take that stress away, your face is one of the first places to show it, but also to improve from it as well.
Yeah. It's mad.
Yeah, it's a mental process. It's crazy how different social pressures and norms are in our society. Speaking of which, and you mentioned earlier, you had a lot of people, once you put the pictures out there, you flipped like you become now an almost like health ambassador. People are coming to you like, what's he doing?
Yeah.
And how does that feel? And how do you feel about it now? Has that now become an inspiration for you?
Yeah. So there's probably a couple of things, right? So, the photos go up, and it's a great feeling on day one when the photos go up. There's loads of Facebook comments and Instagram, and you've gone through loads of highs and lows through the process, and this is like the highest of the highest, right? And it's great because you've achieved something that you wanted to achieve. But what's great is probably more just the inspiration to others, right? So many people just reached out and gone, oh, what have you done? How did you do it? Is it hard? And I want to do something like this, and so it's a great feeling, even if it's just one person that I may have helped. The fact that I've just helped one person in maybe even the smallest of ways, best feeling ever. But you do get a lot of people that go, pictures have gone up, great, how do I do this? How do I sign up? But then don't realize how hard it actually is, right? Because it's not easy. Because if it was easy, let everyone be doing it.
Yeah.
It just requires a lot of hard work. I keep saying tick every box every day. But after I did my photo shoot, right, my brother's leaner than I am, but my brother joined, Rena joined, loads of family and friends either joined or asked for advice and going, right, can you come to the gym with me? And, what am I doing? And what kind of things should I be eating? And it's great because it's a great feeling to help people.
Yeah.
So no, it's been a great inspiration. The whole journey's been great.
Amazing. What would you say is the biggest lesson you've learned?
Loads. So education's a big one. Yeah. So I've learned a humongous amount about just food and the importance of knowing what's in your body. I'm still learning, right? And I remember dropping you a note at the beginning of the year. Again, one of my New Year's resolutions for this year, one of the things I want to achieve is just knowledge of why around food a bit more. So last year, 2018, was more about calories. Yeah. So let me understand a bit more about macros and fats and carbs and protein. And this year was more what I wanted to do. It was more about taking that education to another level to kind of go, right, why is sleep important for you? Why should you drink 2 to 3 liters of water? Why you take pink Himalayan salt with lemon and water every day? Why do you do that? What is sweetener any good for you? Right? Is there such thing as too much protein? So this year has always been about taking that education probably to another level. The podcasts are great, the articles are great, and there's so much out there that you can just follow people or just through Instagram, whatever it might be, and you can just I think that's been great. So that's probably the biggest learning I've had. The other big learning is around lifestyle change. Right? So I remember talking about if I was having a meal out at night time, I'd have a blowout day. Right? So I would have had, like I said, fry up and KFC and then a big ass Indian curry with beers or whatever. Now it's about lifestyle change. So if I know I'm having I can't use the word bad, right? But if I know I'm having an evening off and I'm going out for a curry, then my daytime will be good. Right? I just buffer for it. I eat better, right? So I'll intermittent fast and I'll make sure I maybe I eat till 11 or 12 and have a really light lunch. And then I'll go out and have a good time, just totally switch off and just have a good time. The other thing I learned was coming back to my lunch being quite light. I learned really well towards the back end of the kind of photo shoot type period was how can you have high volume of food but really low calories. So even now my go-to meal that's high volume, low calories is like a 4 or 5 egg white omelette with like 250 grams of grilled mushrooms. Right? And that's nothing in calories. It's like like 200 calories, 250 calories, right? But it's amazing how full that can keep. Yeah. So it's just those type of things, lifestyle change, education, just, going to the gym and tracking stuff. So important. Rather than rocking up going, what do I do? How do I do it? Because who was it a couple of weeks ago, you had a podcast with someone who talked about
Adam Goff.
Yeah.
You can't track. You can't. Well, you don't measure. You can't. Oh, something.
Yeah.
Well, you can't measure. You can't change.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, spot on. Right? Absolutely spot on. And I don't measure everything, right? So I kind of go, yeah, I drink 3 to 4 litres of water, but do I? I think I probably do, but I think I do. But that just comes back to the gym. So tracking everything in the gym just helps. So you get stronger. They're probably the big lessons I learned. So the education and the lifestyle change, biggest ones.
I mean, it's a complete 180. It's almost like you've gone full circle in this chat we've had today.
Yeah.
We started talking about all the problems you had before.
Yeah.
And it's almost like now it's just become a permanent lifestyle shift. And that's what it's all about, essentially.
Yeah.
And it's also about doing it in a way that fits around your business, your work, your family, and your kids. And this is something that you manage. I mean, you don't only do you work a busy finance job, but you also have businesses on the side. Yeah. And you've got a young family. How do you manage all these things? And what do you tell other people who might think it's not possible with all those responsibilities in the day?
Well, so number one, it is possible, right? Absolutely possible. I'm not the only one that's got a young family, it's got a busy job. There's millions of us out there. But it is absolutely possible. It's just about finding a routine that works for you. So when I started the process, I talked about me going for walks at nighttime. But that kind of still ate into family time, right? So I'd still sometimes be going for a walk at 8 or 8:30 or 9 or whatever it might be. And I am definitely not a morning person. Yeah, definitely. If when I joined you said, Sach, you're going to be waking up at 5 o'clock to go to the gym, I was like, shut up. No chance in hell. Yeah. But you've just got to make it work. So find something that works for you and your family. So now and even better, get up early and just get stuff done, right? I'd always make sure, I go to work, come back, and then in the evening, everything's ticked. I don't need to worry about it, right? Meals are done, food prep is done, steps are done, gym is done, water's been drunk. So it's by the time I'm in the evening, I don't need to think about any eating family time. I've got the ability to focus and spend time with the kids. And then the other things are just trying to get your family involved. So I remember going the week before my shoot. I remember you giving me something like, Sachin, you got to hit 20,000 steps, right? Rena wasn't around. She's in New York. I was like, great. I was like, how do I do this? I've got 2 kids, me, right? I've got to hit 20,000 steps. How the hell do I do this stuff? But I would, and I couldn't go out for a walk, right? Because my kids are sleeping. I had to leave them, go for a walk. So I remember even going to a friend's house to go, right, you got a treadmill. Can I borrow your treadmill, right? I couldn't get it into the boot, so I didn't even take it. But I remember then going, right, I've got to hit my steps, but I need to incorporate family life. Luckily, the weather was great, so I took the kids to a farm, and we just walked. Right, and we just walked and walked and walked. They probably did like 30,000 steps or something, right? And so getting your family to do that is a great thing. If you can do that and embed that into your lifestyle, it's a big plus. And they eat healthy as well, right? So now if we're probably on and off, but we kind of go, right, you have to have vegetables. Have to have vegetables with your food. I batch cook for Rena, so me and Rena are now eating exactly the same stuff, but it's batch cooked, and we'll just defrost it and warm it up and eat that. And then the kids will either eat something similar, if it's like bolognese or whatever, or their own meal, and there'll be veggies on the side. But it can absolutely be done. You just need to figure out what works for you, have all the right markers in place, and just get it done. You know, it's easier said than done. Yeah,
but it can be done. That's what you're trying to say.
But it can absolutely be done, right? The amount of people you've had on, you know, all your clients will say it can be done, right? And a lot of your clients are similar to me, right? They've got kids, busy families, city jobs, but you just got to make it work. And so the things that I did is I'd walk to stations. I'd never walk up an escalator. And now I only ever walk up an escalator, right? Or down an escalator. I'd always stand on the right-hand side and let people walk past on the left. And now I'm like, right, I'm that person walking on the left because every step counts, right? If I'm at work, I'd make sure I'd go for a walk at lunchtime for half an hour if I can manage it. Every time I went to the loo, even though the toilets are right next door to me, I'd walk all the way around the floor, right? It's little things like that just add up. And now, remember before we started, right? I'm now trying to get a little bit more lean for Vegas in 6 weeks' time. And I'm now going, right, I need to get all those things back in the right space. Okay, right, and now I need to 10, 11, 12,000 steps a day. Because naturally there is a tendency that stuff just drops away after a while.
Yeah. Very useful advice there.
Yeah, and like I said, it's tough. But if it was easy, everyone would do it. But if you can find what works for your family, because it's important that your family not suffer, but you don't want to eat into family time where you can avoid it by just making some sacrifices through sleep. Generally, right? Let's be honest. The only way you really, either you become more efficient during the day and you don't do certain things like watch TV or whatever it might be, or you sacrifice sleep. And I just sacrifice sleep. Not to an extent where I wasn't sleeping enough, because sleep's important. So I'd still sleep 6, 7 hours a night, but I was, you know, for me that was the only way I could tick every box. But it's possible. It's absolutely possible.
Amazing. And on that note, let's finish up on some rapid fire questions.
Go for it, man.
Okay, I know the answer to this one. But, but I want everyone to hear the fascination you've got. You know, you're coming to an end of a 20-week diet. What's the one meal you're going to go for?
It's got to be a KFC, right? It's got to be a KFC. So me and...
got to know where this has gone.
Do you know what? I think it's because when I was younger, my dad, and he would always... whether it was his go-to meal or whatever, right? It was always... He'd work late nights. And he'd call me and my brother and go, guys, you hungry? I'm bringing some KFC home. Yeah? And it wouldn't be regular, but it was always our nice meal, right? And so I don't know whether there's just a corny connection to that. It probably isn't, but you know, I just love fried chicken. There's nothing that beats it, right? And Pritesh, if he's going to listen to this, right, he absolutely gets it, because there's nothing that beats a good fried chicken. Right? So
Pritesh came back from Singapore recently, and he brought me back a box of like jerky, but like apparently the Singaporeans go crazy over this type of pork jerky. It's basically pork mixed with a bit of sugar.
Nice.
And then they come in mini little packets, so like 10 to 15 grams each.
Yeah.
And then wrappers. Oh, they're lethal. Like,
they're good.
I sent him a picture the other day of an empty box with the wrappers all over the table. I was like, dude, why did you give this to me?
Love that, man. Love that. Yeah, KFC, man. You can't beat it. I haven't had one, though, for ages. Like, I haven't had a KFC for yonks. I lie. I had it last night. I had it for dinner, no. But yeah, I've obviously laid off it, but it would be that or a nice curry. I love a good, good curry or a mixed grill or something like that.
Yeah.
But KFC's fried chicken's my weakness.
What's the best book you read in the last 3 years?
I Am Pilgrim. Have you read that?
No.
Oh man, brilliant book. So there's probably a few. So I Am Pilgrim is great.
What is it about?
So I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, right?
What's the topic though? Is it fiction?
It's fiction.
Yeah.
Go on to Amazon and it's got like 5,000 reviews, like 4.5, 5 stars. Okay. It's brilliant, right? It's a fat book.
Yeah.
So that's a great book. I love reading that one. I think Shantaram is a
still haven't read that. Yeah.
You not?
No.
That's
Even Nathan's read it. Yeah.
Has he?
Yeah.
That's a great book. There's a sequel to that as well. Shadow Mountain, I think.
Okay.
But Shantaram's a favourite of mine. I do like that one. But I Am Pilgrim. Give I Am Pilgrim a read. That's got to be one of my best books.
Awesome. Who should we have on the podcast next?
I think you should have your mum, man.
Should my mum?
Yeah, because before we said those, I'm just random for you. Because you talked about before we kicked this off, right? I was asking her, so what does your mum do? And you said, like, she owns nurseries and all the rest of it, right? And she's the brain, not the brains, but she's got that business acumen that you clearly pick up, right? Yeah. So it'd be great to hear from your family and almost maybe them interviewing you.
Yeah.
Right? Doing a podcast on that. I'd love to hear from you. You've obviously expanded quite a bit through some of your trainers. I know some of your trainers have already got podcasts out there. Be good to hear from some of those recent recruits.
We've actually, I think one of them recorded, we recorded Tedge's, just need to record Elliot's. And there we are soon as well.
So that, I'd love to hear, the female clients are a great listen. It's just a different perspective, right? And it's, hats off how they sometimes have more responsibilities around family and kids and all the rest of it, and how they manage stuff. So I think that's a great one. The other one, probably people that, like me, have gone through the photo shoot, fat loss, whatever we want to call it, then done the investment fluffy building phase, and so someone like Akash, right? He's going through another photo shoot.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
How do they feel second time round? Is it harder? Is it easier? Different challenges, same challenges, right? It'd be good to hear from people like that as well. I
think it's definitely an interesting one because it's always different.
Yeah.
No shoots are the same. I'd say I've done 3 very hard diets. I've done quick diets, but 3 very hard ones. 2 I'd say are extremely hard. And both of them are completely different. Because it depends what stage of life you're in, what you're doing in your career.
Yeah.
Like one of them, for example, I was working as a full-time personal trainer on the gym floor. So, for example, steps and knee weren't a problem because I was always walking around and always carrying weights. And so I picked up loads of activity anyway. So my cardio requirements are never that high. I was doing it anyway.
Yeah.
Second time round, I was working from home, doing starting a business, starting RNT, working from home. Yeah. So I had to consciously always get up and go around and somehow fit it in the days when you're trying to set business up, and it's completely different. And then that's why I said to you before we started the course, I want to do it again this year just to see how different it would be again, like different challenges. Now we're in a different stage of the business where I always feel like my time's limited, where I know that's just an excuse, but how would it be different? How would I manage? How would I structure my day differently?
Yeah.
Because now I can see myself using fasting a lot more than I have done in the past.
It's great.
Fasting is now part of my lifestyle anyway.
Couldn't agree more. Yeah.
I don't eat my first meal till 11 o'clock. But in all my previous diets, I've still done the 5 meals a day. I've never dieted on intermittent fasting, like hard dieted. But I can see myself doing it even longer, like really pushing the limits of the fasting just to find ways to make it easier. So I think, every diet you do will be different. And I think each one will teach you more about yourself.
Yeah, because, and that's kind of what I'm learning now, right? So I'm going through this, getting a little bit leaner type thing, is I know the moment I start getting lists and, early morning steps, 30, 40 minutes, I know that works for me. But I want to know, what are the other things that people just learn about themselves? Is going to the gym different? Right? Do you drop weights even more? So as an example, right, let's say I'm pushing 32, 34 kilos on the dumbbell press. Yeah. I'm going through my second phase of getting lean. Does a 34 stay at 34? Am I expected it to drop a bit more? Because we talk about progressive overload quite a lot. So the first time, all you're doing in your weight progression is just getting better and stronger, right? And then you're lifting more. In your second phase, if you're at 34, 36, because you've carb loaded and you're quite strong, does it go the other way? Do you stay at the 34, 36 kilo dumbbell press and you can't push more? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
it's those type of things that, be interesting to hear.
I think
from people.
I think it's so individual. So the only way you're going to learn it is
do it yourself.
Do it yourself.
Mm.
Because everyone responds differently.
Yeah.
It's so individual how people hold their weights, how people don't hold their weights.
Yeah.
What cardio trick worked for them this time that didn't matter last time. Like, there might be something you have to do this time you didn't even need to think about last time. Like, for example, the second time I competed in bodybuilding, I never had to think about steps. No, sorry. The first time I never had to think about steps because I was probably doing it
anyway.
Second time around, I was obsessed with it because I was working from home. If I didn't think about it, I'd probably just do about 100 steps a day.
Yeah.
So it's those little things that it depends on what is going on in your life. Like, you might have an extremely busy work schedule, which means you only have time to do 10,000 steps. Okay, great. Now, how are you going to have to go on the diet?
Yeah.
Or what are you going to have to change in your training?
Yeah.
To be able to make up the deficit elsewhere.
Yeah. And then the other challenge is almost, your calories have been high for 9 to 12 months. So you've picked up different tastes for things.
Yeah.
Right. And then you go back into a calorie deficit. Like, how does that mess with your mind a bit, right? So, hands up, you don't like protein bars, or you don't like them, right? You call that one of the trigger foods.
Yeah, it's trigger.
I'm stuck in that.
You're
right?
triggered.
I'm triggered, right? Like, my cupboard is full of protein bars.
Yeah.
And I've already started to feel it, right? I'm now kind of hitting 1,500 calories, and I'm like, crap, I can't fit one of these in.
Yeah.
And I have it because in the morning it's a great pickup for me, because whether that's a mental, I'm eating chocolate, I've got a good source of protein, fat and carbs going into my body, and I can then go into the gym at 5 o'clock and feel like I've got something in me, or whether it's a trigger food and I'm like, it's chocolate, right? So there's some of the challenges I'm battling with myself as I go into like a second cut.
Because what you'll find is when you're in a building phase, you always make room for little things.
Yeah.
That you can't get away with during the fat loss phase. So there's little things like, I'll have an extra piece of dark chocolate, or I'll put an extra drizzle of honey on my oats. So all these little things that add up calories in the day.
Yeah.
And then you're suddenly like, I've got to take these out. And then it doesn't taste as good anymore.
Couldn't agree more.
All of these things start kicking in.
Yeah. But and then I'm the same, right? So Halo Top or ice cream.
Yeah, none. That's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah.
Right. But what's interesting, you start going back and going, right, how did I go through what I went through first time? So what are the things that I learned? So I learned around, talk about high volume, low calorie food. Right. So I learned that eggs and mushrooms work perfectly for me. Cucumbers and lettuce and cabbage and that type of stuff, great, right? So I'm now having to go through my library of food that I used to eat and go, oh, got to go back to that now. Will I like it? Will I not like it? How do I bring that back into my normal diet now for the next 6 weeks? But yeah, Halo Top's gone. Protein bars are still in my cupboard.
It's way out there.
But they're going to have to be on its way out. But yeah, you find over a building phase little things that creep into your daily food lifestyle.
For example, for my lifestyle phase or my building phase, I have, I've got my dark chocolate, right?
Yeah, you like that.
2 squares of dark chocolate after dinner, and then I have a square on my oats in the day. But when I diet, I don't take it. I take it out. Yeah. Not because it's a trigger, but because it's calories that
you can use elsewhere.
I'd rather have volume in food.
Yeah,
and it doesn't trigger, but it does give you that very nice feeling. Like,
of course it does.
You want a bit more. Right? You might have a bit more. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I'd rather, when I'm really, really hungry, I'd rather not risk it.
Yeah.
So I just take it out.
Yeah, and that's good advice, right? But there are other things out there that, I remember when I did mine was helped me with that. So low-cal, Hartley's low-cal jelly.
Yeah.
I remember when you said, Sachin, you could start having this. This was like week 13, right? When I think at week 13 started to be a little bit more flexible with my food. I started tracking it myself. You just give me my macros. I went into this Hartley's low-cal jelly. I was cursing you. I was like, why didn't you tell me about this before? Right? It's like, whatever it is, like 5 or 6 calories. I was like, this is brilliant. But, they're the type of things that I'm now going, right, I'm going to start going back to some of this type of stuff to satisfy any cravings that I might have. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to the next 6 weeks. It'll probably be longer because we go with Turkey after that. So the next kind of 6 to 10 weeks of just trying to get lean again, and then I'll go on a however long muscle building phase that I end up on.
Sounds good. It's all an interesting journey.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, hats off to you and everyone at RNT, right? You guys are changing lives single-handedly and with a great team, right? You've changed my life. You've changed loads of people's lives out there. So all hats off and a big thank you to you guys. So long may it continue.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you. And for more, is there any parting words before I close up?
No, I guess if any newbies or even seasoned RNTs, there's a great network of people.
Yeah.
We were just talking about it, right, around that Facebook group.
Yeah, it's bananas, yeah.
It is, right? About a year and a half ago, right? There were a smaller group of people, and now it's just exploded, which is great, right? You get so many food ideas, you get so many people who are just commenting and geeing each other up, and that community is amazing, just brilliant.
It's one of my favorite things about RNT.
Yeah,
it genuinely is. I love it.
Yeah, and even though that I connect with people online through Facebook, like Pritesh and Biraj and Suraj and Kishan and people like that, right? You just either they reach out to you randomly or you reach out to people. And even though you've never met them, maybe through an RNT, meetup or whatever, you don't really know them, but you feel like you've got a bit of a new friendship type stuff going on. So yeah, look, and that's just a great community. So yeah, hats off to you, man.
Amazing. If you enjoyed today's episode with Sachin and you feel like you can relate to it and other people would enjoy it, please share it with your family and friends. For more information, please visit www.rntfitness.com and you can follow us on Instagram at rnt_fitness. Thanks for listening.